How could words ever capture you? Xizang. You are snow mountains, gilded in sunlight. Dawn carried on herdsmen's melodies. You are butter tea's swirling warmth. Laughter racing across the plateau. You are the roads, the bridges, the tunnels, the power lines, threading rivers and peaks into a tapestry of prosperity. Since the start of the 14th five-year plan period, more than 400 billion yuan in planned investment for Xizang has been implemented, advancing a raft of major projects and unleashing sustained momentum. In 2025, the region's GDP is expected to exceed 300 billion yuan. These are not only impressive numbers, but milestones in a journey of development across lofty mountains and deep gorges. Today, we're going to connect with a friend living in Xizang who will show us what daily life is really like on the plateau.
I'm very excited to learn about your experience in Xizang. For you, having worked and lived in Xizang for many years, what are your most immediate impressions, or what changes have left the deepest impression on you in your reporting?
Okay, so for example, with transportation, I wrote a story like 1 month ago, I think. Guy's name is called Gunga. Gunga told me that from his home village to Lhasa, the capital of the Xizang Autonomous Region, it's like it took 6 days, like 2 to 3 decades ago, and now it's like almost like 8 hours by car.
By the end of 2024, Xizang's total road mileage in operation reached 124,900 kilometers, with 1,359 kilometers of rail in service. The Lhasa-Ningqi Railway traverses snowy mountains and canyons through 47 tunnels and over more than 120 bridges, cutting travel time between Lhasa and Ningqi to about 3.5 hours. The region has 8 civil airports and nearly 190 air routes. In 2024, Lhasa Gongar International Airport handled more than 6 million passenger trips, a record high. Roads, railways, and air routes do more than shorten distance, they rewrite time, sustaining the speed and reach of development on the plateau.
Today, with the improvement of the communication, 5G basement that is installed in everywhere in Xizang. For example, like I think 2 years back, the 5G base was installed on top of the world's tallest mountain, Mount Chomolungma or Everest.
By the end of 2024, all administrative villages in Xizang had achieved dual 100% coverage by fiber-optic and 4G networks, extending mobile services deep into snowy mountains and river valleys. More than 19,500 5G base stations have been built and put into operation, enabling 5G access across all townships so that both urban and rural residents can enjoy fast, quality information, services, and more equitable connectivity. Signals crossing the mountains bring distance, education, telemedicine, and digital services, keeping the plateau in step with the world. Connectivity links families and markets, opening doors to opportunity.
As we know, like with the improvement in the medical standards, as well as a significant increase in the average life expectancy, how do you think these changes have manifested, or how they affected the daily lives of ordinary Tibetan families that you've interacted with?
The transportation conditions improved, but still sometimes it's very far from travel from one village to their county town, or to the prefecture city. So it's very far. So now, because the healthcare is improved, so they don't need to travel far. Sometimes, like when they get sick, like a village clinic to get medicine, and if they get a severe disease, they can go to the county hospital to get treated.
By the end of 2024, telemedicine services covered all township level and above public medical institutions in Xizang. Per capita subsidies for basic public health services rose from 25 yuan in 2012 to 115 yuan in 2024. Life expectancy in Xizang increased from 68.17 years in 2010 to 72.5 years at present. the maternal mortality rate fell to 38.63 per 100,000, and infant mortality to 5.37 per 1,000. Healthcare extends deep into the snow-capped plateau, safeguarding every breath and nurturing hope for the future.
And as I know, I think like Xizang is also the only region in China that provides 15 years of free education, right? And also, and they also have the promote bilingual teaching, I think, as well, right?
Yeah.
So in Tibetan dialect and also in Mandarin as well.
They have a 15-year public-funded education system that covers like a preschool to high school.
Xizang took the national lead in establishing a 15-year publicly funded education system from preschool through high school, ensuring access, affordability, and quality. The retention rate for 9-year compulsory education reached 97.86%. School facilities across all levels have improved, and teaching staff continue to grow. Bilingual education has advanced steadily, with more than 30,000 bilingual teachers in place.
The number of full-time Tibetan language teachers rose from 5,800 in 2018 to nearly 8,300.
In the classrooms of the plateau, light and sound shine together standard Chinese language and Tibetan resounding in harmony, gently placing the future into the hands of the local children.
You know, as we know, with Xizang being such a large region, a vast region, that of course water conservancy projects are also crucial for the region. So in your reporting, what have you come across any water-related stories during your reporting?
Okay. For example, on the north of like grassland, very high altitude place, people didn't have water. And so the government, they, dig wells and they solve the problem. They provide like rain tap water for the residents.
On the plateau, water is not only a lifeline, but the foundation for stable harvests, urban growth, and ecological security.
In 2024, 100% of Xizang's major rivers and lakes met or exceeded Class 3 water quality standards.
And all drinking water sources met required benchmarks. Since the start of the 14th five-year plan period, more than 2,900 rural water supply projects have been carried out, improving services for over 1 million people.
An additional 602,500 mu, or about 40,000 hectares, of irrigated farmland was added or upgraded, strengthening the water infrastructure underpinning food security on the plateau.
The snowmelt from the mountains now flows into every village and home, enriching both the land and people's lives. This clear, steady current sustains a more sustainable way of living and working.
So it is amazing to see, and just to hear about the changes and to see them yourself, of course. And you have water, for example, on the one hand, water resources, but you also, of course, another important resource is electricity.
So in some very high altitude remote place, they didn't have electricity, and they had to use a candle, butter lamp. But today, like people in many places, the most places are accessed with the power link. People have saved electricity, right. And in some region they use solar panels, like a very remote area, because they travel a lot. But in the fixed locations, like during their winter time locations, like for example for nomads, electricity linked with the state grid, the system, they're linked.
The main power grid now covers 74 counties across Xizang, serving nearly 3.7 million electricity users. Rural power supply reliability has reached 99.5% with steady improvements in power quality. Hydro, wind, and solar power stations complement one another on the plateau, delivering clean electricity to households. As a result, clean energy accounts for over 99% of power generation, the highest share nationwide. Light and warmth pierce the plateau's night, banishing the cold and stirring hearts, each lamp a beacon of modernity's reach.
It's doing this for the benefit of the people in the Xizang Autonomous Region, so they're not looking for, something to repay themselves back, but it's to supply the people with these resources that everybody should have access to, everyone needs to have access to. So, of course, the region can develop, the people can develop, the whole country can develop. as a whole. You know, maybe in some Western media, some people in the West, they'll say some things, but most of them haven't been there themselves. Most of them don't know what's happening on the ground. So I think it's important for us, as the saying goes, you know, seeing is believing.
Development costs can be measured, and time invested can be counted, but true compassion is beyond price, health is beyond value, and hope is immeasurable. Infrastructure ties life at the foot of the snow mountains closely to the rest of the country, allowing convenience and prosperity to take root in everyday plateau life. This is Xizang. It holds the grandeur of snow mountains and the warmth of modernity. It carries the weight of history and the pulse of development. On the great journey of the new era, Xizang, like the ceaseless flow of the Yarlung Zangbo River, continues to write its story of Chinese modernization. Looking ahead, it is sure to advance with greater vigor and open ever brighter chapters.